We were all over 40 units already.
Sure.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
I'm trying to calculate.
I was in my 20s.
I'm trying to calculate how much per unit.
Units were ranging 2.5, 3,000, some 4,000.
Sure.
At the time. At the time.
Sure.
Yeah. I think there's, here's what people don't understand. Let's talk now. Property investing also require a lot of capital injection. And that's why even when you buy a property, you buy it as though you are buying a business. A business has to generate cash flow. A business has to give you income. Now, building units is not about waking up and building. And that's exactly what's happening in townships now. People are just building units. Most of those properties are not zoned correctly to hold that many units. This is not social media talk. This is business. In business, there's junior class and senior class. So, which class are you in? And can you look in the mirror and say, I'm still playing junior level and I'm expecting to operate at income that commands senior respect? No, here's the thing, right? As a person of faith, with major things, you give the glory to God. But there's a place for you as well. There's a place where the king also gets his glory. God gets his glory. You see, if you read Proverbs, it says, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it is the glory of kings to reveal a matter. So which means both God and the king are glorified. So there's a part of your life where you've got ultimate dominion and kingship over it at that specific moment. So you mustn't shy away from claiming where you say somebody says, Justice, you're doing well.
Yeah.
You know for a fact that you are doing well. And you though it is the grace of God, not everybody is doing well at the level that you are. Because that grace is available for all of us. So there's a certain level where you've applied skill, you've applied knowledge. Yes, you were blessed enough, your podcast grew. But you put in the work. So you revealed that thing by continuously being consistent and doing it.
Yeah.
Had you not, you wouldn't have it.
Sure. So you actually just taken that little bit of a glory. It's not you being prideful. It's just you acknowledging that I am actually doing very well. So I am the guy.
Yes.
Is that what you say?
Yes. So if you walk into a room, right, and a guy is looking for funding for business, and you ask him, have you got the skills for this? And he says to you,
yeah,
I think by God's grace, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Is that someone you would invest in?
Yeah. It's a tricky question, but you know how we are as people,
As Christians.
Yeah, we are like, we just, if somebody says, God told me this.
I actually love how you started. I think it's a very good conversation.
Yeah.
Because it speaks to why do some people prosper and behave as though they are prideful and we think they are prideful. But you find that in that person's heart, there's deep humility. But it's just that we are seeing the outside. Because the outside does not make the man. There's a guy who's going to come to you with ultimate humility. But the heart is full of pride. Because you can't differentiate. You don't know. Only God knows truly whether or not a person is prideful or humble.
But Mr. Witness Mudaga, did you see how God actually evaluates a man? He doesn't look the outside, he looks at the inside of a man.
Sure, absolutely.
If you look at the rich man and Lazarus was just the guy outside the door who's just poor. Then there was the rich man. But anyway, let me not confuse you. God looks at the inner man.
For sure. I'll never be confused. I've got a degree in ministry.
What do you say, Mister? You have? Are you a pastor?
I'm saying I'm not a pastor.
Okay.
I just have. It's not actually not a degree. It's not there on the profile, but I have a Bachelor of Business Administration degree, postgrad in project management.
Yeah.
Then I've got a diploma in ministry. So I wouldn't be confused. I'd actually engage, even if it's biblical, deep biblical stuff. I'll engage you. I just don't engage publicly. I did the degree for myself, just to have my own understanding of the word, my own understanding of the faith that I'm in. Because a lot of people say they're in faith, but they actually do not understand even the faith that they're in. If you say you're Muslim, you want to study the Quran and understand it, because your faith forms the basis of everything you do. If you say you are following African spirituality or Amadlosi, right? You must study and understand it. Where does this thing come from? Why do we worship the way we do? If you say you're Christian, which you and we both are, then we must study. The Bible says study to show yourself approved, right? When Paul preached to the church, I can't remember which church it was, but they would dissect the word to see if what he said is actually true based on the word. Right. So you and I also have that responsibility even in today's time. If someone comes to you and says, God, you don't always have to take everything at face value just because Justice is an influential person and this is what he's saying.
Interesting conversation. A person is looking at you at the moment. They're like, this guy is full of so much knowledge, but they don't know who you are. I know who you are.
Yeah.
And there's probably 25% of, if not 50% of South Africa, they know who you are. But who are you? I'm not going to ask you where you're from, because you don't ask a billionaire where they are from.
Billionaire. I receive, brother.
So who are you and what do you do?
I love that question, who are you? You know, most of the time when people are asked who are you, they answer by their accomplishments, what they've done, what they've achieved. But I like the second part because it says, what do you do? So I always answer this way when I'm asked, who are you? I always say, I am a child of God who is preoccupied with serving God's other children. That's how I think I reached the point over the period of my life to say, how do I describe myself? I don't have too many descriptions. So I can just say, I'm a child of God, and I believe everybody else is a child of God. So therefore, I am preoccupied with serving God's other children. That's who I am. And then what do I do? I'm the founder of AddProp. AddProp is South Africa's fastest growing property ecosystem. I've been in the property industry since I was 18. 17, 18. My mom introduced me to the property industry when she built back rooms back then, probably more than 17 years ago, at home in Tembisa. She had discovered that she overpaid our house by 150,000, and then she took that money and built back rooms at home. And she said, if I want to go to university, I must look after those back rooms. I did eventually go to university. Like I said earlier on, I've got a bachelor's degree in business administration with a double major in marketing and strategic business management. I've got a postgrad in project management. And I did say earlier on to you that I also have a diploma in ministry. You know, and what I've learned to do over the years, I think a lot of people say, oh, you're good with property, but I think my core skills are strategic business management. I'm a strategic person. That's my core skill, and I apply that skill in everything that I do. I think I'm a sharp marketer. I'm skilled when it comes to marketing. I've worked for a youth marketing company 11 years ago before I quit and went into business. I run a property company. I run a prop tech company now. So I've been in property, I've been in construction, I've been in consulting, I'm in tech, I've been in marketing. But all of those things, if you look at all of them, they're not isolated. They all have one common denominator, and that is strategy. All of them. The common denominator there, strategy and marketing, and that's where my core skill lies.
You spoke about all the things that you do, right? And with everything that you do you think that everything just defines who you are, or maybe there's just a different Witness Mudaga?
I love that question because there's a difference between your skills
Yeah.
and who you are. You have to separate what you do from who you are. There's Justice, who is a podcaster, but that doesn't mean that's Justice. You know, I said to my team the other day, I said, all of us are acting. Each and every one of us
Wow.
are playing a role. That's why it's called a role. When you hire someone, you say, I'm looking for someone to play this role in my business. So meaning at each point in my life, I'm acting differently. I don't talk to my daughter like I'm talking to you right now, because right now I'm in a role as the CEO of AddProp, right? I have to present myself a certain way and communicate with you so that the audience can understand what this communication is about. It's a role I'm acting, right? But when I talk to my daughter, I'll speak differently. When I speak to my grandmother, I'm going to speak differently. If I speak to my team, there's usually a room full of people, so I'm louder. You understand what I mean? Because at that particular moment, I'm wearing the role of CEO and the role of trainer to my employees. So we are all playing different roles. So with me, you talked about my upbringing.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So I was born in Gandlanani. Gandlanani is a place in Guyana. That's where I was born, right? And I was born in a hut, in a house. The ambulance was late. That's not me. That's where I was born. And then my parents, 8 months after I was born, were separated. Then I went, they left me with my great-grandmother in Klapgat. Now, Klapgat is a place outside Pretoria, identifies as both Northwest and Gauteng, depending on which part of Klapgat you are, right? So there, I was then brought up by this woman who was over 80 years old at the time. You understand what I mean? So this woman then trains me up in my early, what we call childhood development. I didn't go to crèche. So I grew up running around the yard. She used to do small-scale farming in the yard. That's my great-grand, my mother's grandmother. Primary school, I go to a Tswana-speaking primary school. Remember my Tsonga boy. But now I go to a Tswana-speaking...
Yeah,
Ashkolweni. Yeah, Ashkolweni. No, Ashkolweni, you blah blah, Shetswana. Proper Tswana, because you must pass, remember?
Yeah.
And then, but when you are in the Kasi, you speak Spitori. And then, obviously now I'm being raised by my great-grand. She will never speak any other language to me except Xitsonga and all my other cousins. And within the cousins, some of them, they speak Spitori, it's a mixture. That's where I was. Until when I was 12, I came to stay now in Gauteng with my mother in Tembisa, and I was frequenting Tembisa and Alexander. So when you ask, how do you separate what you do from who you are? I think being in different places and playing different roles made me understand that the fact that I've written a book and I'm an author, it doesn't mean that's who I am. It's a title that I've accumulated along the way, right? The fact that you studied and got a degree, that's not who you are. That's something you accumulated along the way. Yeah. So I've learned to understand that, because God forbid, if you strip everything from me, am I no longer Witness Mudaga because I no longer run AddProp, no longer have a book? I guess the title author, you can never take away from me, right?
Wow.
And the degree you can never take away. You can take the piece of paper, tear it up.
Yeah.
Can't take the knowledge away. But the point I'm making is, if you're going to be defined by the stuff you own, the things you've done, then you yourself are confused about who you are. You don't know yourself. So I'll give you an example. Out there, I'm walking with a woman, right? And she says to me, everybody knows you. You know what I said to her? I said, actually these people don't know me. You know me more than they do. Because there's a certain part of me I've revealed to you that I'll never reveal to any other person, especially publicly, right? I wear different hats in different places. And I believe, because we're speaking success and building stuff, you have to learn to play different roles at different places. One other lady friend of mine called me yesterday, and she says, Witness, I got reminded of you yesterday. I'm like, okay, how were you reminded of me? She says her cousin was hijacked. And they put the matter in the family group. And within the family group, there were people who were resourceful enough to find the car. And she's like, it's so you. I'm like, what do you mean it's so me? It's like, you are one of the most resourceful people I know. You are a degreed individual who can sit in the boardroom.
Yeah.
But I've seen you relate also with criminals, people that are known that these guys are criminals.
You
but
can switch characters, basically.
Yes, but those guys, though they know you are not a criminal, they like you. They like spending time with you. And I said, it goes back to how one grew up. Even in school, the guys that were nerds were my friends. The guys that were criminals, they were my friends too. I was not scared of anyone, and I was not scared of spending time with anyone. So that overall roundness as a person, then it makes you now truly want to say, sharp, who am I? Where I spend time with is environment. Environment shapes you, but it's not who you are. You still have to understand who you are as an individual at each point of your life and at each point in time. And I think we're different at each space we find ourselves.
But Mr. Mudaga, like, how do we, is this like a skill, being able to switch roles? Let's say, for example,
Sure.
I can speak English.
Yeah.
Or fala Portuguese, for example. You know,
you must teach me that.
You understand what I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
I'm also married to a Zulu woman. And when I'm in these different places, I'm able to speak to these people. When it comes to your side, you are able to go to the kasi, as an example.
Sure.
You are able to walk into boardroom and speak to people that we don't even know whether one day we'll speak to.
Yeah.
But do you think...
I sit and speak to billionaires.
100%.
Put it that way, yeah.
But what do we call that? Do we call that a skill? And do you think that people struggle to be able to maneuver between those certain roles?
I love that question because there's a difference between skill and gift, right? So you have to know what your gift is as an individual. What's your gift? You know, the Bible says your gift will make room for you and bring you amongst important people, right? So I think you learn this over a period of time as you grow up and as you continue to search. I've realized with me, I've always had the gift of communication, but I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me, no, kahle, it's not that you talk too much, it's not that wakarat. You are gifted in communication and you are able to communicate with people at all different levels. You can communicate with the cleaner, you can communicate with the CEO, you can communicate with people that are below you and people that are higher than you. It's a skill. And that is something that you either are gifted in or you learn it through environment and observing and saying, okay, what do other people do? How can I do it better? How can I get better with communicating with people? There are two books that influenced my life, right? One is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And then another one is called Developing the Leader Within You by John C. Maxwell.
Yeah.
Developing the Leader Within You. So those books speak more on interpersonal connections with people. So if I get to, let's say, Kukas, and I twang as if I'm at Vets, I've lost those people. I've lost them. If I get into the boardroom and try to be Kasi-like, I've lost those people. So what does the Bible say? It says you must become all things to all men that you may save some, if you've read scripture, isn't it? So that doesn't mean fit in. It means understand where you are. And then the saying goes, if you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do. That doesn't necessarily mean if people are doing wrong stuff, you get there and join them in doing that. It's basically about understanding human psychology. In marketing, they call it understanding consumer behavior. Now we're taking it another level, right? It's on all different angles or all different levels of life. Somebody is consuming something you are giving. If you want to convince your wife to do something, at that specific moment, she's your consumer. It's either you're going to communicate in a manner that she understands, not a manner that fits you, a manner that she understands so that you can buy into whatever vision that you're selling to her. It's sales. It's consumer behavior at that interpersonal level, right? But the same way you communicate with your wife is not going to be the same way you communicate with a guy on the street.
Sure.
You're going to change and say, how do I make this person buy into my message as well? If you've got a core message that you want to put out there. So it's basically, you asked, is it a skill that you develop? I think it's more about awareness. Awareness of yourself, and then starting to be aware of different environments that you find yourself in.
And let's go back a little bit. So your mom gave you a seed. I know I read somewhere whereby your mom passed on.
Yeah, 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
And she left you with a seed. And a lot of us, when we are given a seed, let's say, for example, my dad left me with 2 taxis.
Yeah.
But they crashed. And they were underfinanced, so I couldn't really, and I was really young, so I couldn't really sustain them. So they had to take them away.
Difficult business.
Tough
Tough one.
I'm actually trying to go back, but it's another story
you
for
got
another
permits
day.
and stuff.
Man. But yeah, but my dad's name is still there, so I just need to buy like a quantum. But I'm trying to find ways to buy it, because a quantum is like 600,000 to $1 million. So now I'm trying to, let me go to auction and buy the quantum, and maybe without an engine, then buy the engine. So, but it's a difficult,
like a rebuild.
Yeah, something like that. But it's a difficult business. You know how it feels, by the way. So your mom left you with your seed. When I mean, he let it the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
How were you able to multiply this seed?
Sure. It's a very good question. So when I was running the rooms business, right, for my mom, I didn't even know it's a business, by the way. I just thought, you just collect money, you buy food, you pay fees, and all. Until I started working. And my mom always used to say to me, I must get a job first. She said to me, I know you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to do business, but you must get a job first and go learn what it is to run a business from somebody else's business. I didn't understand that. I wanted to start a laundromat after I graduated. And I went to my mom with this brilliant idea. We stayed next to the hospital in Tembisa. And I said to her, Mama, she was a nurse too, and Mama, I've got an idea. I don't have to look for a job. I'm going to start a laundromat, and I'm going to contract the hospital to bring their sheets to me to wash them. And she looked at me like, so she's like, you want to bring feces from the hospital and blood into my yard to wash it? That's a crazy idea. Go get a job. And she said, take me to Alexander. My grand stayed in Alex at the time. We drove to Alex to my grand. They had a family meeting, and they were basically telling me my idea is nonsense. I must go get a job. Fast forward. So I get a job. I work at Student Village. And I can say how much they were paying me. I'm 13 years old. 12,000. Paying me 12,000. I'm starting my job. And the rooms were giving me about 6 at the time. So psychologically, you start to see, no man, I'm getting this money, but I'm working for it. This one, I'm getting still, but these rooms were built a long time ago. I mean, that's 6 grand, many years ago, 12, 13 years ago, when I was working at SV. So I reasoned, and I'm like, if rooms are able to give me this much, half my salary that I work the whole month for without me having to work, what would happen if I multiplied it? But even then, the idea to multiply it was not even there. And then I eventually quit my job. I'd been promoted 4 times before I quit. I didn't quit because I was not producing.
Wow.
I think even to this day, the CEO of Student Village is my brother and my friend. If I need any connection, I phone him directly and say, Chief, I want to meet so-and-so. He told me when I left, anyone you want to meet, tell me. I'll call them for you.
Yeah.
So I left. Then I went into construction. My friend and I, Gift, already had a shop that we were running back then. We had an idea. We wanted to build a chain of shops and compete with the Pakistanis. Terrible business idea, but we thought it's a good idea at the time, right?
Yeah.
But the margins are so small. But it teaches you a lot about taking care of the rents before you even think about taking care of the millions. Then I went into construction. I was retrofitting people's houses, renovations, all of that, building houses. And then I reasoned that, but the rooms are continuing to give you money while you are busy hustling. Why don't you channel your energy into building more rooms? And I did exactly that. I had gotten married now, and I stayed in a studio apartment in Cape Town. And I was fascinated by the fact that it looks exactly like a room at my mom's house. The difference was that it had ablution facilities, it had a bathroom, a toilet, a kitchenette, a bed area, and a couch. And I thought, but this is the same. It's a room, it's a back room. The difference is that they made it to be fancy. And that's how back then I got into now multiplying the rooms. Every money I made went towards building more units, until I decided I don't want to build in the township anymore. Started building outside of the township, old white suburbs, buy a house, convert it into multiple units, rezone it, put parking allocation. So I found myself a mentor as well, who was a developer who now started to take me through all of these things. But to be able to do that, I had to prove that I'm capable of doing it myself. That's where it comes from. Now I had the advantage of my degree now was playing a role. I studied, remember, a Bachelor of Business Administration degree, marketing, business management. But then I did a post-grad in project management. In construction, you need to understand project management. So as a developer, which is the role now I was playing, I had to play the role of project manager, play the role of contractor, and play the role of financing the project as well. So it's a multifaceted understanding of what it means to actually build a portfolio and run a business.
Why do you make it sound so easy?
I try by all means to simplify things so that I think if somebody's listening, they don't think it's too far-fetched. I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but I try by all means to also help the other person understand, or there are building blocks in everything. You see, a lot of people want to prosper, right? But a lot of people don't understand that there's process in prosperity.
Sure.
They are multifaceted. No one individual has the one skill that made them successful. Because someone will meet you and say, Justice, tell me one thing that has made you successful. You and I both know it's not one thing that has made you successful, because it's not one thing that has made you who you are, or made you know what you know, right? Or made you have access. Let's say, for instance, you called my office, right? And you said, hey, I want to interview Witness. I first ask, who's Justice?
True.
Oh, and I'm like, oh, Justice, but that's my brother. We met a couple of times, many times. I'll go see Justice any day. You know what I mean? It's not one thing. It's a series of things that brought us to where we are now. But can you imagine when we met for the first time, Nakutongela Wantongela? Even if your podcast is big, they say Justice wants to interview you. I say, screw Justice. I don't want to get interviewed by Justice. But the way we related, and it's been many years now. It's been years, right? True. But the way we related with one another, that's my brother. So, one man. You understand what I mean? So it boils down to that a lot of people actually ignore.
You spoke about you having to migrate from the township and starting to build in the suburbs.
Yeah.
I wonder how many properties did you have at that time in the Kasi space?
We were all over 40 units already.
Sure.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
I'm trying to calculate.
I was in my 20s.
I'm trying to calculate how much per unit.
Units were ranging 2.5, 3,000, some 4,000.
Sure.
At the time, yeah. At the time.
Sure.
Yeah. I think there's, here's what people don't understand. Let's talk now. Property investing also require a lot of capital injection. either you're raising the money through a bank or another institution or investors. The fact of the matter is you are gearing towards growing this portfolio. Unless you have a high growth business that's producing money for you and you're channeling that money towards the property portfolio. Remember, the cornerstones of wealth creation are business. So there must be a business or a job that's generating income for you. And then you're taking that income, you're channeling it towards property investing. And for those that are employed, it's either you've got a pay slip, you raise money through the bank, even if it's 5 million, it's 5 million that the bank is saying, we're giving it to you, you owe us. So even if your portfolio is growing, if you are gearing at over 80%, you're not getting much in terms of cash flow. So you have to understand all of those things. You have to understand gearing, you have to understand leverage, you have to understand ROI, you have to put all those things into perspective. So a guy can come to you and say, my portfolio is 50 million. And you're like, oh, wow, that guy is doing well. He's got a portfolio of 50 million. But you find that on that 50 million rand portfolio, his cash flow, it's only about positive cash flow, it's 100K, 200K. So meaning somebody with a couple of units in the township or anywhere else could be performing better than somebody who's got a 50 million rand portfolio. So you have to understand. And that's why even when you buy a property, you buy it as though you are buying a business. A business has to generate cash flow. A business has to give you income. So you buy it in that way. So for me, yes, I was blessed to have been brought up in an environment that taught me business.
Yeah.
I was blessed to have been. I'm also blessed to be somebody who understands things. You know, I can read and understand stuff, and I have the gift of applying things. If I read something, I want to do it, right? But when I become a billionaire, it won't be because I bought a property. Probably because I built AddProp, and it's probably international and global, and it's being used by different developers, agencies, individuals.
Yeah. I want you to talk to me. Let's say I've got a pay slip. I'm earning maybe 60,000 or 50,000.
You're rich, 60K.
No. So nukuma 50,000 and then come pay slip. Bank la kukuniketa maybe 1 million. And maybe I've got a stand from the township. Where do I start? Is it possible to make it happen? Maybe build 5 to 7 rooms in the township so that I can make passive income?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. They will finance you for 1 million if you earn 60,000. Remember, the bank looks at 30% of your gross income can be allocated towards a bond repayment. So if it's 1 million rand property, it's only 10K. You're actually quite good on the 60K mark. If you were earning 30K, they would then say your bond allocation would be 9,000, which is 30%, and then maybe you'll put 100,000 rand deposit. So even if you're earning below that, depending on the deposit that you can raise, you are able to buy a property. Now, building units is not about waking up and building, and that's exactly what's happening in townships now. People are just building units. Most of those properties are not zoned correctly to hold that many units. So if you're going to put units in your stand, if you want to one day sell your property and you want somebody that's buying it to get bank finance, you have to make sure that there are approved plans in place with the municipality. A lot of people don't do that. They just have the plans drawn and they start with construction. You have to also make sure that you've spoken to a town planner, that you don't put too many units on your property, now contravening the zoning of that specific property. And then, obviously, most of the time, the architect, when he draws the plans, will even say some rooms there are for entertainment, some are boys' room. He's not going to say all of them are rental rooms. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that if you do that and you've done proper compliance when it comes to the building of your property and you've got an occupation certificate from the municipality, makes it easier when you want to sell it. Because the bank, as soon as the evaluator goes out and sees too many units, they are going to ask for the zoning certificate as well as approved building plans if they are going to finance it. And if those are not in place, they're not going to finance it, then that means you must get a cash buyer. Now, I know people that say, I'm going to build nonetheless because I'm not looking to sell the properties. I don't sell property. It's what I thought when I was building. I thought, I don't want to sell property. But I found myself selling properties, you know.
Wow.
And it was never the plan. Remember also when I got married, I never married to say, one day I'm going to divorce. It just so happened
But nobody gets married to.
My point exactly. So nobody buys the property to sell it. Sometimes people are not planning to flip property. I was not a property flipper. I never wanted to flip property. I had friends around me that say, you know how much cash flow I'm making from just buying, redeveloping and selling? And I'd say, I'm not interested in flipping. Right? I develop to keep and rent out. And some we develop to sell directly to the consumer immediately. But with time, then I realized that, actually, you must build anything that you are building, at least with the understanding that you might one day want to sell it. So make it as valuable as possible, make it as legal and compliant as possible, so that it's easier for you to actually get enough offers on the table when you want to sell.
Yes. So there's actually money in flipping, eh?
It depends, yes.
But you have to follow the right steps, and
you have to know what you're doing. There's money in anything, Justice. You have to know what you're doing. There are podcasters who are millionaires and billionaires. There are podcasters who are not. And some will never be, even if they try. It's about, do you know what you're doing? Do you have the skills for what you're doing? There are people who are in property, they will not be billionaires, but they're also billionaires in property. Every business has got somebody who's at the top of it. So it's not this thing of, there's money in that, there's money in everything. There's even money in talking. There are people who just get paid to talk. Like me, sometimes I get invited, come talk here. We'll pay you. You'll pay me to talk. I would have talked for free, but pay me nonetheless. When I discovered the first time when people say, we are interested in your thoughts, we're willing to pay you for strategy sessions. But then over time you realize, of course, they have to pay me because my contribution makes them make a lot of money, right? But there are people who are also talking, they're not going to get paid. No matter how much they talk, even if they talk more than me and others, they won't get paid. Because life requires you to find what you're good at and do it. Is there money in flipping? Yes and no. Because there are people who are failing at flipping, but there are also people who are succeeding at flipping. So you have to understand, how do you identify a deal? And what's your negotiation skill? Because it's not about just being able to identify a good deal. Can you successfully convince an investor or somebody who's selling that specific thing that you are the right person to buy it? You know, when I bought my ex-wife a practice a couple of years ago, she came to me and said, Daddy, there's a practice for sale. I didn't have the cash. So I go to this guy that's selling it. And he says to me, there are cash offers on the table for this thing. No, I had to appeal to the human side of this thing as a young husband wanting to secure this investment for his wife. Appeal and convince him that I'm the right person to buy it. I'll give you a deposit and I'll raise the rest of the money. Why should he go for me when there is cash offers on the table? He actually said to me, there's another doctor is offering X amount, 10 times the value of this thing, but I don't like his personality. He said in those exact words, I don't like his personality. I'd rather wait for you. What is it that I did that appealed to the human side of this? And it's the art of every deal. Because people ultimately do business with people that they like. Why should the one guy work for you and not the next guy? That speaks to attracting the right talent into your business. Right? So all of those things, You don't just look at it at face value. I saw one guy asking me, AddProp's value has grown so much, so we must all do tech. In my mind, I'm like, my guy, you are not even skilled enough to speak to tech developers because you don't know how to talk to people.
Wow.
How are you going to build a team?
Wow.
You're arrogant. How are you going to build it? Because interconnectedness requires humility. There's a point in time where you must realize, no, this time is not space for me to talk. It's my cue here to keep quiet or ask questions. And when the time is right for me to be decisive and make a decision, I unapologetically become decisive and I make a decision. So you must know when is the right time to buy that property, when is the right time to sell it, when is the right time to keep it. Sometimes you need money for other projects. How do you divest? Because all of those things speak to the ability to divest. These are business skills. These are not street talk. This is not corner language. You now have to graduate your mindset from being the guy that I was, talking at the corner, to how do we strategically divest without killing the entire portfolio? And where do we start divesting? And where do we channel the money? And how do we grow the next venture that we are starting? This is not street talk. This is not social media talk. This is business. In business, there's junior class and senior class. So, which class are you in? And can you look in the mirror and say, I'm still playing junior level and I'm expecting to operate at income that commands senior respect? So, you have to know yourself, understand your surroundings, and say, yes, I hear, I get opportunities all the time. Trust me, all the time. I even got last year an opportunity to be in mining, to buy a mine and operate in the mining space. And I had capacity to raise the money from invest. I made one call to a mentor and I said, do you have $50 million for me? He said, what do you want to do with $50 million? And I said, there's a mine for sale. The guy already has mining rights, but we haven't started. But when I sat down and calculated all the work that will go into that thing and the possibility that we might not even find the diamonds that we were looking for in the diamond market and selling and whatnot, I said, this is not something that I have a senior class knowledge in. So I must bow out respectfully out of this deal. Though I've got fundraising skills. So, but also those skills I must check, what am I fundraising for? Is it necessary? Because the fact that you can raise money for something doesn't mean you must do the thing. Maybe you're not even supposed to raise money at all at this season of your life and where you are in terms of business. What's your skill? What should you focus on? Focus on the stuff that you're good at. You'll make money. It's a long answer, ne?
Yeah, and that's a very good answer. It's a very good answer because, a lot of people, they go into business because they just want to make money. It's about money, money, money.
What does this say?
It's more than just money.
It's more than just money. It's more than just money. It's not, guys, it's more than just money. And that's the reason I wrote the book and that title. Because a lot of people are always asking me, Witness, you're a young guy, man. How do I make money? How do I make money? It's more than that. Because there isn't one thing that you do and make money. In fact, have you realized that businesses actually evolved? How did Elon become a multi-billionaire, $500 billion? Did he stick to one thing?
Nope.
Did he do one thing over and over? This guy keeps evolving and doing different things, buying a social media company. He's doing so many things. But it speaks to his ability to evolve and adapt. And every business that has grown, even though the business model is the same, they keep adapting. They said that ShopRite started making a lot of money when they started getting into townships. It's evolving. Before apartheid ended, they were confined to white areas. When apartheid ended, they adapted, went into the black market. So I wouldn't say most entrepreneurs, because real entrepreneurs have a mindset of building things for the long term.
Oh, there's fake entrepreneurs.
It's not fake entrepreneurship. It's people who think they're entrepreneurs. Because entrepreneurship, when you study the definition of entrepreneurship, it's you are taking a risk, a person who takes a risk to create something that's valuable for other people so that he can make money. But you hear the definition doesn't say money first. It says you take a risk first, create something of value, and then make money. That's the definition of entrepreneurship. So a guy who wants to put the money first hardly ever even wins. Because entrepreneurship is not about paying your bills. It's not about buying a car. There are wealthy entrepreneurs that don't even drive cars that I know. Because it's not about that. It's not about lifestyle. So if somebody shows you a picture of an entrepreneur on Instagram, it's flashy and whatnot. But I mean, I've sat even across Brian Joffrey, the founder of Bitvest. I've sat across Michael Bloomberg, taken there by a mentor of mine at the time at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Sat across, you realize it's about the work itself. What value does the work produce? And is somebody willing to pay for the work? Did you get paid first before you do the podcast?
No.
You did it first, right?
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over.
Again and again for 3 months.
For 3 months.
Yeah.
Nobody paid you.
Yes.
Nobody gave you anything.
Yes.
So why did you take the risk?
Entrepreneurship.
Exactly my point. So you had to prove yourself first. And for it to grow to a certain level, you must continue to do the thing that you did in the first place, which was to prove yourself. The market rewards those who prove themselves. It doesn't reward those who want money. There's a difference. So a lot of people say, oh, you've got 17,000 plus users on AddProp. Your business is growing so fast. But where were you over the last 5 years when I was doing seminars and training people and people were laughing at me, calling me motivational speaker, what? I had to enjoy all of those titles. Nobody can call me that now because my traction is undeniable. So now it's clear, oh, this guy is an entrepreneur. Because it's long term. You don't know what I'm planning. And that's what entrepreneurship is. I don't have to come and drive a car to prove that I'm an entrepreneur. Anyone can drive that car, even employees. Even salaried employees can get beautiful cars. It's not about that. It's about what's the value and at what level am I partnering. What is the level that I'm partnering? The level I'm partnering now is different from the level I was partnering 5 years ago.
Sure.
Now we do high value strategic deals. Someone will say, what's high value strategic deals? It's about if I make this deal now, right? What impact does it have in the next 5 to 10 years, in the next 20 years? You know, when you read the story of Esau and Jacob in the Bible, it speaks exactly like this. Esau, in the beginning, sold his birthright. Understand the word sold. Somebody bought there. He sold. But the guy he was selling to was a better negotiator because he didn't pay a lot for it. Now, he would go out into the wild and kill, right? But this one tended the sheep behind the yard. Remember, he didn't go out to find something to kill. Whatever it is that he was growing, one had a mindset of killing and eating immediately. The other had a mindset of tendering and growing stuff. When the time came and the opportunity came, when the birthright needed to be sold, he was at the right position. Opportunity of a lifetime one had presented it to himself. This guy who kills is hungry. He likes eating today. Instant gratification. He gratifies the flesh. And Jacob says, I've got a bowl of stew. I'll give it to you, provided you sell me your firstborn right. How many artists do you see crying now? Because they sold away there are songs where they are birthrights to production companies. Because they're looking for shining too quickly. They don't look at the fine print. Who owns the masters? Even in business, it's the same. What is your capacity to understand the difference between instant gratification and building for the future as an entrepreneur? And everybody, one way or another, is an entrepreneur, by the way. So Esau sells his birthright. Jacob buys a birthright. The Bible says, buy the truth, buy the future and never sell it. He buys it. But what does he buy it with? With a bowl of stew. Someone said, this guy is shrewd. No, this guy is a negotiator. If you hear pastors, they'll say, no, Jacob stole it. He didn't steal it. He negotiated. He bought it. In fact, when the father had to bless the firstborn, right? And Esau had to present himself to the father to be blessed. Guess what he still did? He still ran to go kill an animal. Because he doesn't tend and take care of anything. He kills everything he finds. Where did Jacob go to cook for the father? Behind the house. What he's always been cultivating. He kills, gives the father food, he gets blessed. People say he stole. He didn't steal. Remember many years ago he negotiated for this birthright. The one who was trying to... This guy Esau was supposed to say to his father, hey, I sold the birthright many years ago. It's no longer mine. Bless Jacob. But no, he went ahead. Bless me. There is a masterclass in business. You know, the Bible is quite both spiritual and practical.
True.
So the practical side is, what are the business lessons in this thing? It's pure entrepreneurship.
And there's a lot of them, in the Bible. There's
Absolutely.
a lot of them.
It's pure entrepreneurship.
You reap what you sow.
Exactly. And this guy is cultivating. This guy, how many people do you know, Justice Man? Freelancers and whatnot. They're just looking for that quick kill. They're even overcharging. They're not looking at building long-term sustainable income through this relationship that they have with this person. They want to get paid once. You got into debt over 40 years. You believe you're going to get out of it once.
Sure.
But you did this thing over 40 years. And you believe I'm going to overcharge Justice as my client once and I'm going to get out of debt. What is that mindset? Instant gratification, wanting to enjoy now. A lot of people are not going to get wealthy, unfortunately. It's not possible to eat and build. We must be honest about that. And right now, there's a culture of quick it looks quick. I mean, what we built with AddProp, it looks quick, and these guys are quick.
Yeah.
Bruh, how many years have I been in the property industry?
It looks like an Instagram quick one.
Yeah.
Microwave.
Yeah, then you went in and built
2,
this
3.
thing, da. But we have a team, bruh. I run a team, bruh. I run a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's an entire team dedicated to marketing, dedicated to PR, dedicated to development, dedicated to all of these things. But it took years of cultivating the skill of management to be able to deliver what we delivered in a short space of time. So, meaning, it takes sometimes, like they say, 10 years to become an overnight success. You have to be willing to cultivate for the long term.
Yeah.
And I think that's what entrepreneurship is, what it's about.
Tell me about AddProp. Why did you start it?
Why did I start AddProp?
I'm sure you took probably 3 years planning, making research, and making sure that the outcome is proper. Even though
actually took 7 years to start AddProp. 7 years. The idea for AddProp came to me in 2018. I wrote a 29-page document of what's going on right now. It was a 29-page document where I wanted to infuse tech with community. I had not written this book yet. So I wrote that. I was sitting in my office in Midrand. I was already a property developer. I'd focused on units, property management, property development. But I thought, but I can build something that's actually tech-based, where I can manage these units, but also get other people in the community to use the tech. But it has a community activation element to it, where we meet with communities in different places. And I wrote that and I put it away. Can you imagine? I wrote the document and emailed it to myself. I can even show you. Let me show just this. In case people are like, nah, this guy is making up stories.
In 2018,
right? In 2018. So
wow.
The company was called Property Juice. It wasn't AddProp then. It was Property Juice. But same concept, same everything. Let me show you something.
Wow.
So I want you to look at the date, ne? The date. And then before you open the document, I want you to read what it says on the email. Look at the date.
Wow.
What does the date say?
That's 28 November, just after my birthday, actually.
28 November when?
2018.
Okay, what does the body on the email say?
Let me just say here.
Yes,
I see.
But read the body on the email.
Oh, yeah. This is to certify that the ideas on this document belong to me. Oh, man. Mr. Mudaga.
This is to certify.
Yeah, to certify that the ideas on this document belong to me. And I'm sending this email to myself on this day, 28 November 2018, as proof.
Yes.
And there's a document attached here.
How many pages does it have?
Oh, my word. Man. It's a long document, probably 28. Eh?
You won't read all of it.
Oh, man, it's a lot of it. Look at this. Wow.
So I can tell you what's on the document because I wrote it, right? I wrote it 7 years ago.
Wow.
So everything you are seeing with AddProp, it's more than just money, was documented on that specific document that day. It's not luck.
So you wrote everything. How much? Because I can even see how much agencies are going to pay monthly and stuff like that. Like everything from A to Z.
Yes.
Sure, I know.
So I wrote that document. I was, funny enough, 28, 29 years old.
Yeah.
Still 28 years old at the time. But the point I want to make is this, right? So I sat down. I wrote this manuscript document about Property Juice, which is now AddProp, right? I write it down and I document, this is AddProp, this is how it's going to work. And then I forget about the email. COVID comes in 2020 and I had not executed. Remember, I knew nothing about tech. I now had to study tech. I've read so many books on tech. I understand tech. It's not like I woke up one day and said, how do I make money in tech? No, I spent time reading. I read about Alibaba. I read about Airbnb. I read about Uber. I read any book I found about any concept that's tech-based. I read it. Then 2020, I write my book. It's more than just money. It's COVID. I wrote the book in 2 months. There was no ChatGPT then, so nobody can accuse me of using ChatGPT. So I write this book, gets published, thousands of people start buying it. Unknowingly, I start executing what's on the document. I start doing seminars. The community outreaches that I was talking about in the document. I'm doing that. A friend of mine comes to me and I say to him, I've always had an idea for tech and property. He was a tech guy. He says, yeah. You build the community, I build the tech with a team. So we contract the team. Long story short, 3 years later, they had not done it. The team. So you are spot on, 3 years. 3+ years of me doing it's more than just money. Almost 4. With the seminars, we are touring the country. The platform is not ready. I meet a potential investor. I call him an angel. I always tell him this. 23 November 2024. We had a seminar in Cape Town. So I take a walk in the morning. I said, let me take a walk. go to the beach. I come back, I'm like, let me go to Starbucks. Still 6 o'clock in the morning. I meet a guy there, white guy. And remember, become all things to all men that you may save some, right? Start chatting up with this guy. He's an American guy. Start chatting with the only 2 people there. They eventually even let us in early. We sit down. We have breakfast together. His name is Robert McPherson. Turns out, Robert is a strategic advisor to an organization called the Harambians. And he's also a venture capitalist. Says to me, I like you, man. You've got so much energy. What are you doing that I can invest in? And I'm like, brilliant idea. I'm like, guy, I'm in property. Here are my developments. Like, now, Witness, I'm not going to invest in property. And I said, okay, I've got, it's more than just money. We've got a podcast. We've got seminars. We've got community. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that. And he asked me something. He says, what you're doing is counterintuitive. That's what he said. How do you teach people to invest in property when you yourself are in property? Aren't you creating too much competition for yourself? That right there is where the light bulb switched on, right? And I said to him, in actual fact, we're building a tech platform called XYZ. And he said, well, let me see it. Call my guys excitedly. Guys, send me something to show a venture capitalist. To nothing. Link is not working.
Sure.
And he said to me, if you fire your team and do it yourself, I'll back you. So I went back home. I write emails to my guys and I give them a chance to rectify. And I said, we have to develop this thing. And unfortunately, they were not able to deliver on the thing. We signed separation agreement. We parted ways. I set up AddProp and I went to work and built a new team. Within 3 months, we had launched something that took 3 years. Other people leading, which had not launched. And Rob did not give me money. We still talk.
Okay.
He's still advising me. I don't want to add other stuff because, I don't want to put it.
Yeah.
But I believe now that investment is coming. Simply because he can't believe what we did. I talked to him 2 weeks ago rather. And he says, Witness, I can't believe what you have done. You took this thing and built a platform with 17,000 users in less than 6 months, and listed more than 4.4 billion worth of properties in less than 6 months. Built an entire ecosystem, monetized this thing in less than 6 months. It's a crazy entrepreneurship story. But you know what he gave me? A gift of belief. He made me believe he'll give me the money. And he did it deliberately. He said, build it, I'll give you the money. I'll tell you a story. And this is maybe what entrepreneurship is about, right? Because I believed so much in this thing now, and I now believed I'm the right person, I went and put in all the skills that I've learned in building stuff, and I built it with a team, my team, whom I'm very, 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 very proud of. However, I want to tell you the story about a guy who took a group of mice and he put them in water. And the mice, within 15 minutes, drowned. Some of them drowned. Then he took others out of the water for them to breathe, right? And then he put them back into the water after they caught some breath. And they swam for 48 hours. From 15 minutes to 48 hours. The difference there is what? It's the fact that when you believe that help is coming, you continue longer than when you believe there's no help coming. Because the first group of mice died because help wasn't coming and they thought, we might as well give up. The second group had now learned something subconsciously that I just have to keep going. I'm going to breathe soon. So the gift that he gave me was the gift of belief. Though we had not gotten far with AddProp, that's the guy. Can you believe somebody can you think about it? Somebody who has access to billions is not giving you, but he's calling you weekly and saying, I'm checking up on you. How are things going? Are you winning, young man?
Yes.
So it makes you believe help is on the way. I've sold stuff to build AddProp. I've sacrificed so much to build it. I say it's not funded by government. It's not funded by venture capitalists. But I think it's funded by belief. It's funded by me because I've sacrificed a lot to fund it. But it was all worth it.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, it was all worth it. We haven't done the app part yet. When we're done with the next round of financing, first proper round of financing, because now I think we are institution ready. We're not just a startup.
Yeah.
We are an institution. So we are having the conversations now, including with Rob's venture capital company, accelerator programs and all of those things to capacitate the team and grow the business. I think that's when we'll go the app route.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of partnerships that we've set up for AddProp. You'll be amazed. I mean, in the next few years, not even the next few years, the next few months, you'll be seeing some things there that are quite empowering for those that are in the property industry, those that have got a marketplace as well, those that are building and selling products on the platform. So I think my story for me is a story that says if you've got something that's in your heart and you believe wholeheartedly, one, document it, write it down. Nobody can argue that I built AddProp. No one. Zero. Because this is something that's 7 years coming. Took years. Right? But at the back of my mind, I knew that every day we are getting closer to seeing the materialization of what we wrote down. It says in the word, says write your vision down and make it plain on tablet.
Powerful.
So that they may run who read it. It's Habakkuk 2, verse 2.
Powerful.
It's biblical stuff, you know what I mean? So I'm just that guy, man. I love God. I'm excited about ideas. And I think God continues to bring the right people around me. I've got a very good team. They work very hard. We don't sleep, man. We're always improving every single day. But God keeps on infusing new energy into us.
Yeah. How do people buy the book?
The book, it's more than just money. It's on witnessmudaga.com. It's on Take A Lot. It's more than just money on Take A Lot. It's also on Amazon. And then it's also on social media, on all my pages. You'll find information on how to purchase the book.
Okay, how do people book you to come and speak so they can give you money? A lot of it.
So the email address is info@addprop.co.za, info@addprop.co.za, or they can email info@qualitygrowthinternational.com, one word, Quality Growth International, or they can call our office 010-023-6001.
Nice. And the website is at www.addprop.co.za.
Yeah, AddProp.co.za. Yes. We do South Africa first. Very strategic in everything we do. AddProp.co.za. We've listed more than 4.4 billion worth of properties.
Yeah.
We've got an ecosystem that's running. There's a lot that's coming for the property owners, those that are already making money. They'll be able to get loans, financing through the platform to be able to grow their property investment portfolios. So I'm here to serve.
I'm calling you a billionaire not because of the properties, because I wouldn't know how many properties you have. I only know like in the township like 40 plus. I don't know if you're already sold or not,
Yeah.
some of them. But I'm calling you a billionaire because of AddProp. I think that's a R1 billion, if not dollar, platform.
Sure.
That thing is massive.
Sure.
It's incredible what you've built there together with the team. And I know that there's been some challenges there and there. It's part of business. But building wealth takes time. So shout out to you, man. I'm very much inspired, especially with the email that you just wrote in 2018. It says so much that you can send an email today, come back to it maybe after 5 years and still work on that idea that you had 5 years ago.
Sure.
So that is very inspiring. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this. You're a very good interview.
Is it?
Yes.
I appreciate you. Actually, I wanted...
Have people told you that?
Not really, not necessarily. I actually wanted this to be in Tsonga.
Bange man. Loko blabla Changani bange. What's the return on investment in Xitsonga?
Thank you. Thanks, man.